Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to mold an object, how to make a mold of it, and how to cast uh, replicas or duplicates of that same product. So in this case, we're going to do starfish. And so what you'll end up with, this is your original object, your starfish. We're going to make a mold like this, and then we're going to cast, oops, I got that backwards. This is the original, you can tell from the back. We made a mold of it, and then we're going to cast it so that we get a epoxy or polyurethane cast that we can then use to decorate things for our arts and crafts instead of going out and buying starfish all the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a milk carton, or you can make the borders of the mold with anything. It just has to, you have to give it about half an inch around your object, half inch to 3/4 of an inch. In this case, I cut the bottoms off of cardboard milk cartons, and then we're going to glue the starfish to the bottom of the milk crate. Next, I'm going to glue my original, my object, to the bottom of the mold. And there are lots of different ways to mold things, but this is just a simple, we're not worried about the back side of the object because we're going to be gluing that against something else. So we're just gluing it into the center of our form in order to pour our casting material. So those are like that. Now another thing, if we have an object that's too big for some convenient object like a milk carton, we can make our own. And we do that by just simply using some cardboard and some hot glue. So just gonna run a bead of hot glue along this, which was longer than it needed to be. And I glue it into place. If you want, you can reinforce corners since I have extra length on this, extra cardboard. I'm going to put it like this. Put it on the inside. And we're going to glue up our corners like so. If you are constructing your own frames, your own boxes, you just want to make sure that you glue all of your seams, because if you don't, the silicone casting mold making material may seep out and then you end up wasting a lot of silicone. So you really want to make sure that you get a nice bead around all of your joints so that nothing leaks out. So we're going to make the mold out of Smooth On Mold Star 16 silicone, and these are by weight or by volume. That's a 1-to-1 ratio in the mix, and that's why I like using them, because they're fairly forgiving. And just want to make sure it's stirred up first. And I don't have a bigger pot, so I'm going to be mixing this small cups at a time. about half a cup at a time so I can mix two of them in one thing. But that's one side. That's the A. Then the B. I've got to stir it up too, make sure it's well stirred. And we're aiming for the same amount. Looks like I might be just a little bit high on the blue. Going to mix these two together. And ideally, I would have had, like I said, I would have used a bigger cup. Now, this particular product, the Mold Star 16, hardens in 16 minutes. So, and you've only got about 3 minutes worth of working time as far as putting these two things together and mixing them up. So fairly important that one works fairly quickly with this particular product. There are other silicones and even Smooth On makes ones that are that go off slower. Don't know why I left 2 spoons in there, for popsicle sticks in there either. Didn't really need the 2. We've got about 1.5 minutes gone on here. So you just want to make sure that you're not seeing a lot of streaks in here, a lot of different color. It should all end up being a pretty uniform mixture of the two, kind of a lighter blue. Okay. So now it's time to demold these. And that's the fun part, because you can just tear these off. Ooh. So typically when you put down your original, when you glue it down, you might run a bead of clay around the outer edge so that you don't have all this backfill of the mold. But with these starfish that are really delicate, I didn't do that. And so anyway, I just open up the mold with a pair of sharp scissors where the starfish is. next step is using the polyurethane resin to actually cast our replicas, our starfish. And the beautiful thing about this, again, this is mixed by weight or volume. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so it's really cool. It's really easy. So you can eyeball it. You don't have to. I'm going to try to mix enough that I can get these 3 guys all done at the same time. I don't know, because I haven't cast these before, since I just made them. I don't know how much volume they're actually going to take. So, also go off very, very fast. So I just roughly mix it like that to start. Finish off. And this is polyurethane resin. Epoxy resin is the same way. This starts getting very hot very quick. So you can tell by the feel when you're holding the cup whether it's starting to have a chemical reaction, which this is. So I'm going to get on filling these guys up. And I can tell you right now, I made way too much. So, babe, can you get that barnacle one out real quick? And the other starfish.